Oh, bonjour boners. Bonjour boners. It's late night get wood time. Hello. How are ye? How are ye, boners? ¿Cómo estás? Bonjour, ¿cómo estás? I hope bien. Good God knows it's hard to be bien. But you're here, you're near, you might be queer. Get used to it. Hi, welcome to Get Wood Podcast. My name is Jess Wood. I will be your hostess with the mostest for about 30 some odd minutes to talk about some odd shit. Hi, everybody. Oh, so good to see you. So good to hear from you. As per usual, we will do a little theme song. It's the same theme song, so please sing along. Big Bud, Big Bud, Sesame, Big Minge Energy, Rat-a-ta-ta-ta. That's a 9 mil melody. Bam, and you say, God damn, this is a dope jam. I'm broad. I'm broad. I'm broader than Broadway. Yes, I'm broad. Said I'm broad. Said I'm broader than Broadway. And I'm diddling, extra diddling myself. And it feels so good. Your sauce will mix with ours and we'll make a good goulash, baby. Oh, yeah. What time is it? It's midnight. It's time for Get Wood with your pal, Jess Wood. Hi. Good for you, Jack. Hello and welcome. And yes, it's late night here in New York City. It is the about to be striking midnight. Let's hope I don't turn into a pumpkin. Come on. Where's that glass slipper? I am so happy to be here. Now, listen, you may be wondering to yourself, Jess, I thought your show was early on Saturday nights. Well, it usually is. And to not disappoint and not flake, like I can't be like California and totally be a flake. Okay. I'm not that girl. I'm not that lady. I'm not that glady. And I couldn't stay away from you. I couldn't not I c- I couldn't not report back about my week to you on a Saturday. And here we are on a Saturday night. Loneliest night of the week. Hey, hey, cha-cha-choo-cha-choo, bink. So what I did was today I was at the beach because, I think we only have like 2 more days left that are beach days here. So I'm taking advantage of it, friends. And you have to. When you live in a place like New York or anywheres where you got a little weather and you got seasons, this is it. You take advantage of the time you get to be outside. And that's me, Miss Advantage Taker USA. I have a ribbon and I am so fucking grateful. I just want to say I'm very grateful to live in this life. And I know it's such a fucking struggle right now. And there are a lot of challenges and there's a lot of negativity and a lot of shit going on in the world. But we have the power. You have thine one has the power to change our energy. We can experiment. This is what I've been doing, okay? And I really recommend it highly. Experimenting with your perception. I know it seems weird, but it's science, guys. It's science. So just listen up, okay? It's scientifically proven that our brains are malleable and that we can change the way that we think about things. And then in turn, things change, the outcomes are different. If we can change our perspective upon things, things will change. Let me give you an example. I know I'm always giving examples. Hey, figure, if I don't have samples to send you, I can give you an example instead of a sample. Okay, so tonight I had a show. Oh, I wish you were there too. I know, I missed you. I wish you had been there. And no, I did not record it. You know, a lot of people ask, Jess, why don't you ever record your sets? And that way you could put them up and we could see them. Well, I am working on a longer set right now. So the work that I'm doing in the rooms that I'm doing them in, it's for me to work. Okay. It's working it out. So, speaking of working it out and going by really practicing this Buddhist idea of beginner's mind, which is really, it's a challenge, man. It's such a fucking challenge because your ego wants you to be like perfect first time, first draft, first set, first joke, first time on stage. Like you just want it all to be perfect for your ego. And yet, it's not really that easy, right? Is it? Now, sometimes you can have moments of beautiful things that happen, but for the most part, I think we need to really be gentler with ourselves when we're going to do something that requires us to have a beginner's mind. And I believe that comedy really does require a beginner's mind. You have to be in the room, you have to be very present. You also have to remember your jokes, but you want to be able to have them be malleable enough, like our brains, malleable. I love that word tonight. It's the word of the day. Yay! Malleable. Yay! Oh, Pee-wee, rest in peace. And so I was doing that tonight. I went to do a show and I was planning on doing some things to help build the set that I'm getting ready to do later in the next week. And so I had some expectations on myself and I had some major kind of ego tripping that I was doing. And I noticed, and then I got on stage and I still was kind of, look, I should have gone to the bathroom. That's the first thing. If you got to release your bowels or you got to urinate before you go on stage, for God's sakes, do it. What are you doing? What are you torturing yourself? But this doesn't have to be torture. So that was one thing that I didn't do. Another thing that I didn't do was I didn't really write down any of the stuff that I wanted to work on. I just thought I would go in and kind of fuck around. And that's not great. It's same with here. I can't just come on here and just like fuck around. Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm just gonna like fuck around. No, I have a whole thing of notes. You know, I show you my notes a lot, but tonight I decided for some reason to not have notes for the stage. So I go and I do the set, and I'm not really getting the response that I feel that I should get, even though on one hand, I realize that I didn't really prepare as well as I should have. And on the other hand, my ego's like, yeah, but you're really fucking good. So you should just be able to just do whatever and they should laugh hysterically. Well, that's not the way it works. So I wasn't getting like the crazy laughs that I get that I'm used to getting. I'm quite spoiled about my laughter. And so my ego got up a little and I got a little, ugh. And then I realized, no, you're here to work out your stuff, your beginner's mind, practice your stuff. And as soon as I grounded myself out and I realized what I was there for, and it took a good few minutes, which is a long fucking time on stand up stage. But then I got through, it was a 12-minute set, which is a little longer than what you usually get. And I was happy to have the time. And then I didn't feel as good when I got off stage. And I thought, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have opened with that. And I started to evaluate myself and kind of beat myself up, which is never a great idea. I always talk about how I want you, my little boo-boos, to be kind to ourselves and be gentle with ourselves. And again, if I'm practicing beginner's mind, then practice, baby. Let's go. Chill out. So I was even texting and being like, oh, I didn't do a good job. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. There was one guy in the crowd who would like applaud every time I had a joke. And it was this black gentleman, I imagine in his 30s, uh, sunglasses and like a beret. Very Charles Mingus, very jazz man, a 1940s jazz man. And he was very into it and he was clapping a lot. So I said, when I was on stage, I said, oh yeah, the black guy in the sunglasses, that's my demographic, really. That's actually my audience, if you want to know. So this is not off brand. So he was fantastic. And afterwards he asked me if I would, to answer some questions that he had written down in his notebook for me to answer. And they were all, don't get weird, they were all questions about like my want to perform. Do I want to act in TV and movies and all this? And so I was writing down my answers and it was really fun. And so it kind of cheered me up. And the last guy was on stage and he was having fun. And then it was over. And I was chatting with one of the women who was there, who I really like, this girl, Lisa, and shout out to Lisa. And then all of a sudden, all the audience members started coming up to me and thank you. Oh my God, you were so great. And this one woman came up to me and she said, you were the best. The way that you talked about women and what we get embarrassed about or uptight about or upset about. And you really tackled some really heavy issues that are so hard to talk about. You talked about abortion, but you made it funny and that's so hard to do. And I thought, oh my God, my perspective was all funky, right? I had in my ego tripping, thinking that I really like didn't do a good job and I could have done, and why did I do this and why didn't I do that? And yet there I was being complimented afterwards by the audience. So really, we don't know nothing. We know absolutely nada. We really don't. We really have to give it up sometimes. And I forget that a lot. I forget that I just have to give it up and let it go and enjoy the evening and don't get in my fucking head. And it's hard. It's a hard one, but I am learning and I'm practicing. And I am getting a drink of water. And I am so happy to be here with you. Mm-hmm. All right. I had some very wonderful meetings this week with people, with strangers. You know how I love to talk to strangers. And I really believe another scientific fact: community and talking to strangers helps your happiness level. It's proven science. So I will, a lot of times before I go into the JOBWORK, I'm trying to spell it out now because I don't want to be there anymore. So energetically, I'm separating myself from it. Yeah? Yeah, you get it. I knew you would. Thank you so much. And thanks for liking my hair. I know it's fun. It's a fun fall into purple. It does remind me of the crackheads, though, that I talked to on Mermaid Avenue that time, where one asked me if it was periwinkle. Yes. Yes, it is. So, speaking of talking to strangers, so I love to sit outside in Union Square before I have to go inside for a bunch of hours. Excuse me. And I I will always talk to strangers. So I was walking over to this little table and chairs that were just set up randomly, and there were two open and little table. And and so I'm walking over to it and I have my headphones on, and there's this older white woman walking towards the same table. And I immediately think, oh, I hope this woman sits with me. I hope this woman sits with me. Titty, titty, bang, bang, chicka, chicka, wow. And so I sit down and the lady is talking to me. And so I pull off the headphone and I said, what? And she said, do you mind if I sit here? Do you mind if I share the table? I said, of course, please, I would love for you to sit down. So she sits and she's wearing purple makeup. She has a purple hair pin. She's got a outfit on. I love her whole look. So of course, immediately I'm like, I love your purple. The purple's great. The matching the beret and the whole thing. And she says, thank you. And I said, you look great today. I hope you're having a good day. And she said, I am. I was walking. I had to stop walking. I've been walking for a while. And I said, well, you're doing great. And she said, since I don't know you, I'm going to tell you how old I am. And I said, all right, let's go. And she goes, I'm 92. 92 years old. This woman, She didn't look over 62, 64. I don't know. She looked like a younger lady. And I said, "Oh my God, your skin is amazing." And she said, "I don't have any of the stuff. I never get the fillers or the Botox or the pull. I don't do any of the things." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I could tell you're very natural. You're beautiful." And she said, "Oh, thanks." And so, because I'm having this uh, long distance love affair, I have questions, about relationships, and I have questions about men in general. And so I started to ask her a little bit because, 92, you've been around the block. Give me a couple answers here. So she starts to tell me about her husband, her late husband. He just passed away a few years ago. And she said, "We were married for 70 years. 70 years." And she goes, "Yeah, but it wasn't all fun and games. And I said, "All right, all right." She said, "But, at one point my husband wanted to write a book. So of course, you want to support your husband. And he started bartending while he was writing the book. And I was very supportive of him. He did do what he wanted to do. The book was published. And then the book got made into a movie." And I said, "What movie was it made into?" And she said, "No, no, no. It's from the 80s. You wouldn't know from the 80s." And I said, "Come on, I'm from the 80s. Let's go. What do you got?" And she says to me, "It was called The Pope of Greenwich Village." Hand to fucking God right now. Hand to God, she said it was the Pope of Greenwich Village. I immediately, without missing a beat, screamed out, "They took my thumbs, Charlie. They took my thumbs, Charlie." And if you have not seen The Pope of Greenwich Village, please, I need you to have seen it yesterday. Like, it is mwah, chef's kiss, classic, fantastic. I couldn't believe it. Now, she couldn't believe that I knew the movie. She goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you know." I said, "Are you kidding? Mickey Rourke at the height of his hotness? You couldn't believe it. Eric Roberts at the height of his, I don't know, cocaine addiction. Unbelievable, fantastic movie." So I'm very impressed, this lady. And so I tell her, "Well, I'm a stand-up comic." And she goes, "Oh, I have a niece who's a stand-up comic." I said, "No, come on. What's her name?" She said, "No, no. She lives in LA." I said, "Well, I used to live in LA. Let's go. Come on." And she says, "Her name is Sheila Ratner." I know this woman. I said, "I know Sheila." I said, "Sheila with a G? How many Sheilas spell their name with a G?" Hello. So very small world, very delightful woman. Loved her. I gave her my phone number and I said, "Carol," her name was Carol. "Carol, you call me anytime. I will meet you. We will talk." Because seniors, um, isolation, loneliness, it's a bad scene, man. We don't celebrate our seniors like we should. Our elders are where it's at. Like, we need to celebrate our elders, our ancestors. That's where we come from. They know all the things. They know all the things. And speaking of, I got to see my seniors this week, and oh, what a joy they are. And we all started talking. It's a very organic storytelling class. We'll call it, it's loosely a class. It's more of a group of storytelling group for the seniors. And we like to keep it light, we like to keep it fast, and we like to keep it going. And so the woman who runs it, Cindy, sweet Cindy, she brought in a picture of her great great auntie or someone, and she was saying, "It's my great great auntie." And she's passing it around. Now remember, these seniors are 80s, 90s. Rita is 102. Rita is 102. And Rita's like, "Yeah, whatever. I went and got a new outfit. I'm going to a wedding next week." Like, come on, Rita. So family was the theme. Like, it was loosely the theme. And from family came the holidays. And because Rosh Hashanah is upon us, they had a lot to talk about how they prepared for the holiday and for the meal and how things were cooked and how things were prepared. Now, let me tell you something. This is not going to be about how they cut up the carrots and put it on the fish. This is about more than two of the seniors had stories about keeping carps in the bathtub. Yeah, because then they would get to the day before the holiday and someone would have to kill the fish, the carp in the bathtub, and then they would serve it. They'd cut it up and they'd serve it with oh my God. Okay. The women, there were two women who talked about the carp in the tub. Then a man talked about a carp in the tub, and he said he had to kill it. With what? We all screamed. Oh, with a hammer or a baking, what is it called? Rolling pin. Either with a hammer, you knock it out, or the rolling pin, you knock it out. And we were screaming. We were screaming, oh my God, you had to kill it. How old were you? And he said, I don't know, like 14. So the girls didn't have to see that. They never saw from the fish getting killed. But the guy had to go into the bathroom and kill the fucking fish. Now, Rita had something to say about the fish in the bathtub as well. And you know what Rita said? I hated when the fish was in the bathtub. I couldn't take a shower or take a bath. There's a fakakta fish swimming around. Okay, why were the fish in the bathtub? Not just to keep it fresh, but because the ice boxes, that's what they called them, the refrigerators, were so small, like a shoebox, Franny said. Like a shoebox, it was. So the fish were too big to put in, and it wouldn't keep it fresh anyhow. So there's all these people talking about it, and people are talking over each other, yada, yada. Then the Russian lady that's part of the group, who's like, from Russia, like when it was, tampons was luxury, that Russia, like we wait in line for toilet paper. I said, so, do you know from the carp in the bathtub? Excuse me, I just burped, and I'm trying to be more of a lady about it and not be so. But it's authenticity. That's what you like. You hear? How do you do? So I said to her, did you also have the experience of a fish in the bathtub? And she got this look on her face. She was mad. And she said, we don't have bathtub. You didn't have a bathtub? No, we had no bathtub. We had no shower. We had no water. You want to get water, you go take bucket down to water source. You fill up bucket and you bring it back to apartment. And Papa has to come home from work, and he gets the water to splash on his head and his hands because he's dirty from the job. But we have no tub. We go once a week to a place that has the bath, but like really big, above the ground, like tub, but really big where you can fit a lot of people. So there is one side for the men's and one side for the ladies. And I'm girl, but girls, ladies, everybody naked in this tub. And you say, maybe a stranger, you can wash my back because everybody's there one time a week. Now, all the Jewish ladies are screaming, oh, the Russian bathhouse, the Russian bathhouse. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, but this is extreme. So if ever we're feeling sorry for ourselves, or we're thinking like, oh my God, my hair looks terrible. Remember, there were people that had no bathtub. I mean, I know there's still people that have no bathtub, but let's just, oh my God, we got to be grateful. You know what I mean? So again, the seniors just fill me with joy and appreciation. And I love the idea of aging because they make it seem like it's fucking great. I mean, yes, they have arthritis and there's some what my aunt calls the organ recital, where everyone talks about their failing whatever's. But I'll tell you what, I have one more for you about an older person that we met this week. And me and my multi-personalities, but also my sweet god sister was here this week. Natalie, oh, I miss you and I love you. And she was here. And I walked her. We started in the West Village, and I walked her up Houston all the way to Mulberry Street. It happened one day on Mulberry Street. And we turned the corner, and there's a Ferris wheel, just a janky ass Ferris wheel, just doing its thing on the street. And she goes, wow, what's this? And I said, this, my dear, darling god sister friend, is the Feast of San Gennaro. Feast your eyes on this. And she couldn't get past, because the Feast of San Gennaro is all the way down Mulberry Street for about a mile or two. So it goes from Houston all the way to Canal Street. And it's all just outside food, games like carnival games, janky ass rides, and jewelry and mirrors with your name airbrushed on it. Like, it's very county fair energy, but it's the Feast of San Gennaro, and it's been happening since like 1942 or whatever the fuck. And it's this Saint Gennaro, I guess, is a saint. Gennaro. And my little sis couldn't get over the fact that people lived in the buildings above the feast. And she goes, but what about the buildings? What about the people that live there? What happens to those people in those apartments? And I said to her, girl, in New York City, once in a while, your entire block turns into a fairground, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Like, I had a friend, a really good girlfriend of mine, who lived, excuse me, I'm spitting on myself. I'm getting very excited about the feast. She lived on Mulberry, and every San Gennaro, every year, she would have to fucking bolt her windows down because the sausage and pepper, the smoke from the sausage and pepper booth would just go right into her window. And there's fried Oreos, there's funnel cakes. Forget about it. Zeppeli, what do you need? You wanted something fried? We get us something fried over here. And it is insane. There's a cigar booth. Like, I don't fucking cigars. How's it going, fellas and ladies and fellas? And so she just couldn't get over it. She said, look at that Ferris wheel. It's going into those people's apartments. And I said, yeah, actually, there's a guy on TikTok that I follow who's hilarious, this Puerto Rican guy. And he's like, yo, you could go into this building. You could go up to the fourth floor. You could go into the bedrooms, and you could like literally jump from the fucking bedroom window into one of these Ferris wheel cars, and like you don't have to pay. Now you're on a ride, and it's like your life is fantastic. I was like, your life is fantastic at the San Gennaro feast. So if you get a second, if you have the eyes to be in a crowd of God knows how many fucking people. So I did a mitzvah, we'll call it, last night. I went up to Astoria to my friend Sue's album taping, and it was fantastic. But I'll tell you, before I got there, I ate one of the best falafels I've ever had in my life. I mean, Ditmars Avenue in Astoria Ditmars. This falafel, my mouth is watering thinking about it. They had beets, like big fat chunks of beets in there, cucumbers, fucking forgot about it. It was so good. And I should have known, because the name of the place, get ready for it, Schwarmania. Schwarmania. That's right. Coming to you live from Schwarmania. Schwarmania Saturday Night Extreme. Like, it was so good. It was so good. Anyway, I like to share with you my thoughts on food, as well as my review for this week. I haven't watched the whole thing, but what I've seen so far is tremendous. It's a documentary about Charlie Sheen. Anybody? Have you seen this winning tiger blood filled fiesta that is just fantastic? And the people that are in it also, like John Cryer, Sean Penn. I can't, the videos from when they're little and they're doing like films when they're little. I mean, not for nothing, bunch of Malibu kids. Look, I'm not going to be shitty about it. It's a great documentary. I really recommend it. Hilarious. All right, I will leave you with this. Well, first of all, let us all have a moment of fucking silence for Jimmy Kimmel, Jimbo Kimball, my pal. He's not my pal, but isn't he all of our pals? The free speech thing is just fucking killing us, isn't it? All the stuff. It's really, really bad. And the show that I was at last night was fantastic because they had postcards on the tables already stamped and addressed to Disney. And we all were able to write out how disappointed we were. in them. And I wrote a lot. I'm very disappointed in you all. It was very like my mom would have hated, what I don't know. I think Disney, you used to be, but they never were. They never were. Disney, it's the evil empire from the beginning, from the get-go. Are you kidding me? Walt Disney, he's fucking, oh my God. Anyway, shout out to Jimmy Kimmel. And I'll leave you with this because I don't want to leave you in a sad state of affairs. So let's talk about my last elder that I met this week with my little sis. After we left San Gennaro, we walked down to City Hall Park, beautiful park, squirrels, pigeons. There's a few rats. We saw a guy feeding a pigeon, or not a pigeon, excuse me. We saw a guy feeding a squirrel. Thank you very much. It's getting late here. A squirrel he was feeding. The squirrel was on his lap and like touching, his paws were touching the guy's hand, and he was feeding him. And we stopped. Wouldn't you? Would you stop if you saw a guy feeding a squirrel like that? Like, it was pretty close. It was pretty intense. So he says, "Oh yeah, that his name is Big Charlie or something." Like, he had names. That one's Fluffy and that one's Big Charlie. Like, he had names for the different squirrels. He knew the different squirrels. He said he was out there every day and this was his squirrel feeding time. And he was friends with the squirrels. And then he's been friends with them. He's been doing this for 24 years. And he was very happy and he was very calm. And he said, in order to stay balanced, especially now in a world like this that's just in a dire time, he said to be surrounded by trees, animals, and the quiet that they bring and that they're so present. And my sister and I were just in awe of this guy. We just loved him. And we said, "Oh, does your wife know?" Because we thought, oh, maybe he's like a lonely old guy. No, his wife is at the apartment. I'm sure she's like, "Oi, Ron, go out and feed the fucking squirrels already, Ron. You're getting on my nerves." Like she can send him out to feed the animals. And everybody calls him Uncle Ron. So of course we did as well. And this show is dedicated to the elders. And this show is dedicated to changing our perspective and getting a better idea of us in the world, and that we are doing really well and we are doing a lot better than we might think sometimes. And I want you to just have faith in yourself and keep doing what you're doing. If you're not hurting anybody and you're not hurting yourself, you're doing a great job. And girl, you're doing a good job. Girl, you're doing a good job. And I'm so excited to see you next week. And I'm more excited even to hear from you this week. And I would love it if you shared the show. As usual, I always love when you share the show. Feedback is always encouraged. Reviews, 5 stars on your podcast platforms, always encouraged. I thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. You can't even believe how much love I have for you. It's like silly. Just like the show. And I don't even know if it was that silly this week, but there was a lot of fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope you have a great week. And I'll see you next time. Love. Bye. Yes, we are ending now. We are ending.